World War III. Two words that evoke visions of nuclear firestorms, shattered cities, and the collapse of everything we know. For decades, it was just a terrifying what if, a relic of Cold War anxieties and dystopian fiction. But now in the 21st century, the idea isn't so far-fetched. With the rapid evolution of military technology, rising nationalism, and growing global rivalries, the unthinkable feels just a little more possible. We live in a world of unprecedented connection and unprecedented volatility. On the surface, a large-scale global war might seem unlikely, yet just below, a tangled web of geopolitical friction, power shifts, and technological hazards brews quietly. All it could take is one miscalculation, one cyber attack, or one escalated regional conflict, and the world could find itself sliding into chaos. Let's break down the global powder kegs, the flashpoints where a local conflict could turn into a global inferno. Number 1. Russia and NATO. The war in Ukraine is more than a regional conflict. It's become a full-blown proxy war. NATO supplies arms and intelligence. Russia sees it as an existential threat. With military buildups near NATO's eastern front and both sides on high alert, even a single stray missile could activate NATO's Article 5, the collective defense clause dragging multiple nations into direct conflict.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said Thursday U.S. President Donald Trump and the leaders of European nations all agree that Russia is a long-term threat to NATO territory. We know the gaps there are to keep NATO territories safe, Rutte said.
I'm not seeing a situation where the US is walking. I'm seeing a situation where under President Trump's leadership, this could be brought to a positive end. And that is very important, and I really want to thank him for that.
How does the global trade war? Do you think the Russian president wants to make peace?
I don't know. I worked with him for 4 years, between 2010 and 2014, when I was Prime Minister of the Netherlands, and I stopped trying to read his mind. You mean President Putin? Huh? President Putin. You meant the Russian president?
Yeah.
Yes. So I worked with him for 4 years, between 2010 and 2014. I stopped trying to read his mind. We'll see, but there is something on the table now, I think, where the Ukrainians are really playing ball. And I think the ball is clearly in the Russian court now.
Number 2. China and Taiwan.
China is building special landing barges likely designed to transport People's Liberation Army military equipment to the shores of Taiwan, which could indicate an intention to launch a full-scale invasion of the island, military observer David Axe writes in The Telegraph.
Taiwan, the flashpoint that keeps military planners awake at night. China has vowed to bring Taiwan back, by force if necessary. The U.S., while tiptoeing around diplomatic red lines, continues to support Taiwan militarily. A botched military drill, a misinterpreted movement, or a forced reunification attempt could ignite a showdown between China and the U.S., two nuclear-armed giants. Number 3, the Middle East. The Middle East remains a maze of rivalries and unresolved conflicts. From Iran's nuclear ambitions to the proxy wars in Yemen and Syria, tensions are high. With the U.S., Russia, and other major powers involved, any escalation could trigger a chain reaction well beyond the region. Number 4, North Korea. North Korea is perhaps the world's most unpredictable nuclear player. Each missile test, each threat of war adds a new layer of tension. And with South Korea, the U.S., China, and even Russia caught in the web, a single misread signal could erupt into disaster.
씩씩한 발구름에 힘껏 찍혀집니다. 밤에 들고 포연해 죽은 강철빛 얼굴들이 뜻깊은 이 밤의 유독한 광채 속에 우족의 분상으로 안겨오는 이 시각, 을스러운 이덥고 자랑스러운 총대 심장들에서 한 목소리로 울리는 신념의 외침, 경축의 광장에 메아리칩니다. 한중앙의 혁명 사상은 우리의 핏줄기, 한중앙의 영도는 우리의 생명, 한중앙의 지상은 우리 군대의 투쟁 목표, 승리의 표대.
Today's warfare isn't just about bombs and bullets. The battleground now spans cyberspace, artificial intelligence, and even outer space. State-sponsored cyber attacks can paralyze infrastructure, steal state secrets, or crash financial markets. In a tense moment, a cyber attack might be seen as an act of war, prompting a kinetic response before attribution is even confirmed. AI-driven systems promise precision, but lack judgment. A misidentified target by a drone or a rogue decision by an automated defense system could escalate a minor skirmish into a major war, all in the blink of an algorithm. Satellites run the modern military machine, from navigation to communications. An attack on satellite infrastructure could leave a nation blind and deaf, tempting retaliation. Space warfare, once science fiction, is now an operational concern for the world's militaries. Since the Cold War, the doctrine of mutually assured destruction has kept nuclear powers in check. But it's a fragile peace. With 9 nations currently holding nuclear weapons, and others possibly joining, one rogue decision, cyber intrusion, or system malfunction could bypass all safeguards. And when nukes are involved, there are no second chances. Globalization ties countries together. Trade, finance, and tech connect economies in ways never seen before. The logic goes, no one bombs their business partners. But it's not that simple. When trade wars turn into economic warfare, and economic pain is blamed on foreign rivals, war becomes a tempting way to reassert power. Globalization may delay conflict, but it can also deepen the resentments that cause it. Organizations like the UN, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and Association of Southeast Asian Nations are the world's pressure valves, facilitating dialogue, coordination, and peacekeeping. But they rely on the cooperation of their members, particularly the major powers. And in a time of rising nationalism and political gridlock, that cooperation is under strain. World War III is not inevitable, but the risk is real. The ingredients are there: rival powers, advanced weapons, vulnerable systems, and human error. Avoiding disaster requires more than just stronger militaries. It demands foresight, diplomacy, restraint, and, above all, an unwavering commitment to peace. Subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most pressing threats and challenges.